themselves in all their interests, but so far independent of the land about them that if every terrestrial animal were suddenly annihilated, it would doubtless be long before the general multitude of the inhabitants of the lake would feel the effects of this event in any important way. It is an islet of older, lower life in the midst of a higher, more recent life of the surrounding region. It forms a little world within itself, a microcosm within which all the elemental forces are at work and the play of life goes on in full, but on so small a scale as to bring it easily within the mental grasp. Nowhere can one see more clearly illustrated what may be called the sensibility of such an organic complex, expressed by the fact that whatever affects any species belonging to it must have its influence of some sort upon the whole assemblage. He will thus be made to see the impossibility of studying completely any form out of relation to the other forms, the necessity for taking a comprehensive survey of the whole as a condition to a satisfactory understanding of any part. If one wishes to become acquainted with the black bass, for example, he will learn but little if he limits himself to that species. He must evidently study also the species upon which it depends for its existence, and the various conditions upon which these depend. He must likewise study the species with which it comes in competition, and the entire system of conditions affecting their prosperity. And by the time he has studied all these sufficiently, he will find that he has run through the whole complicated mechanism of the aquatic life of the locality, both animal and vegetable, of which his species forms but a single element. I have reserved for the last the entomostraca, minute crustaceans of a surprising number and variety, and of a beauty often truly exquisite. These entomostraca swarm in microscopic myriads among the weeds along the shore, some swimming freely, and others creeping in the mud or climbing over the leaves of plants. Some prefer the open water, in which they throng locally like shoals of fishes, coming to the surface preferably by night or on dark days, sinking to the bottom usually by day to avoid the sunshine. These pelagic forms, as they are called, are often exquisitely transparent and hence almost invisible in their native element, a charming device of nature to protect them against their enemies in the open lake, where there is no chance of shelter or escape. Then, with an ingenuity in which one may almost detect the flavor of sarcastic humor, nature has turned upon these favored children and endowed their most deadly enemies with a like transparency, so that wherever the towing net brings to light a host of these crystalline entomostraca, there it discovers also swimming, invisible, among them, a lovely pair of robbers and beasts of prey, the delicate Leptodora and the Corythra larvae. So, thank you, Stephen A. Forbes.